Hey, Daniel. What's up, dude? Have I ever tried making a conlang? No. I, you know, I, speak English. I struggle to speak English. Good. Too good. I ain't talk right anyhow. How am I gonna make up a language, you know? Maybe if I, like, knew some other languages, I'd make up a language. I've never been that interested in learning other languages. Maybe when I was a kid, but I didn't really try to. I thought it was cool how like Tolkien invented like Elvish and like all these other languages just to create his universe, you know? Like I really admire the intelligence and imagination that goes into that, and also the dedication. Because I mean, it takes a long time, but to do something that ambitious. But nah, I don't think I'm cut out for that kind of thing. I'm having a hard enough time just writing a piece of music people will actually enjoy and listen to. If I can figure that out, maybe I'll think about other shit. Yeah, there does seem to be some overlap between like Zen and interest in that kind of thing, like conlangs and stuff. Because like in the Zen server, there's like dedicated channel for like world building, and then like uh, what's Lamplight has like a whole conlang thing. A lot of people seem interested in that too. There's probably some like there's probably something there just about the novelty of the language and there's definitely some overlap between that and Zen harmony because you're taking known materials, but you're manipulating them in a different way to. I mean, in a way, Zen is kind of constructing a new language. It's just a musical language, but you're literally like playing with harmony in a very fundamental, abstract way that goes beyond just like writing a story. Like you're playing with things on a very basic level in Zen, and you do the same thing if you make your own language up. Because you have to kind of explore like the intersection between the most basic elements of language, which are just like you have to basically have to invent your own grammar and invent your own sounds and all that, and notation and everything. So there's definitely a lot of overlap between conlang and Zen. I think one of the chief differences is that Zen you can almost see more as a, well, Zen doesn't feel as removed by default from what exists. It kind of feels more like an extension of what exists. Not that conlang doesn't, but I feel like conlang is basically understood to not have. It's not like. It's not like. I don't know. I guess it depends on your opinion. Maybe it's a matter of opinion, but I feel like Zen harmony is like this next step in the progression of an art form, whereas conlang kind of doesn't feel like it has that same relevance to like literature. Although maybe Zen doesn't have any relevance to music really either. Maybe they're kind of similarly irrelevant, or maybe they have like similar potential and could be huge, but neither has been that important yet. But I mean, conlang is in like Tolkien and other authors have explored that. And people have tried to make languages too, and some have seen like some amount of utility, like Esperanto, but I don't know. Probably not. I don't know how much that stuff influences existing language. It's kind of an interesting. It's an interesting kind of intersection. Zen and conlang. Anyway, I've been rambling. Do you do that, Daniel? Or are you just thinking about that because of like lamplight? Oh, shit. Yeah, and even like at least one person who comes in here pretty regularly does conlang stuff. In fact, he's not really that into Zen. He's just into music. You're making a conlang seldom. I see. That's not the name of it. You just mean you do it every so often. Yeah, I don't know much about it. I know there's like communities behind it and stuff, and I'm sure you'll have like kind of a basic understanding of like how you would go about it or how you start one. But I don't know anything about it. 19. I can't wait to get my Lumatone. Might be soon. Fingers crossed. But they say they have oh, what the fuck? They say they have figured something out, so they're starting to ship to the US again. So badly on this. I wonder if it's no accident that basically the two people with basically the best ears on this site, their favorite Ito is 19, or one of their favorite Itos is 19, both of them. Because, like, it is so hard to get these down. It's like the most confusing structure to interpret. I don't know why. It doesn't really seem like it should be that hard. But it just is. It's so easy to get confused. Man, these are so tough. God. Jeez, this was so hard. Ah. Ah, damn it. Oh, man. Suck at that one. Like the weirdest mistakes. I don't know why. Like everything just gets jumbled up in my head. You think this one would be Hey, Amber Kit, what's up, dude? Good. I'm good as well. I think my Lumitone might be coming soon. Probably shouldn't jinx it, but that is what they told me. They said they have figured out the customs issue. So we'll see. Got your driver's license? Nice. Driver's license. I'm so much older than you. Wow. You got your driver's license. Holy moly. Hey, be careful out there. Don't run anybody over. I'll say up. When I was younger, I loved. I think I was kind of scared to drive like the first maybe week or two, but once I got used to driving, like I loved drive. I still do kind of love driving. Like I've done a lot of like driving jobs because I just think they're super chill. Done a lot of delivery jobs. Like I've been a pizza delivery guy. I delivered for a furniture company, well, a furniture restoration company. I've done a lot of Ubering and Uber Eats. I really like driving, but even before I did like driving jobs, I would like sometimes when I was just like bored and frustrated and about stuff, I'd just go drive around. Just drive around places just to relax, I guess. Clear my head. Well, when you're young, you don't have your own space, so gotta share with your family and all that. And even when I first like left the house where I grew up, I moved into a dorm and had roommates all the time. And so I just get my car and drive around. Driving gives you lots of freedom. Yeah, it's a big rite of passage, you know. Stuff like that means a lot when you're, or at least it did to me and most of my friends and stuff. It means a lot when you're that age, coming into your own and all that. Getting around on your own, blah blah blah. Do you no, it's probably don't answer if this is too personal, but do you have like a do you get to drive your own car or do you share with your parents, your siblings, something like that? I feel like getting a motorhome would be lovely. Only problem is lack of space, especially if you're a musician. Yeah, it depends on what instrument you play. If you just do everything on a DAW, um, you don't need hardly any space. But yeah, if you play a piano, some space. I've always envied like that about guitarists. Like you can play guitar anywhere, and yeah, you can play it in the park. Like walk around outside with it. I fantasize a lot about wandering around the world and like just getting really good at guitar, being a nomad. But I just don't like I just like piano too much. Although to be fair, I haven't really been playing that much piano lately. Now I'm just stuck on my computer. But maybe I'll get a maybe I'll get a 22 Edo guitar and spend a year as a homeless guy. Just be like a drifter. Yeah, I was playing my piano a little earlier today, and it's kind of crazy. I've like never played so little piano in my life. Um, because I'm like working on this album, so I'm like recording vocals and then I'm mixing and plugging things in, and I'll go play my keyboard and stuff to add parts and whatever to this album. But yeah, and when I'm not doing that, I just want to do microtonal stuff, which I do have an electric piano. I could do stuff with that. I could retune it, but I'm just like really into 22 Edo. I really want to become like a good producer. The only way I could regularly practice piano on top of everything else is if I didn't have to work. Problem with guitar is you need to stretch your fingers, and your fingers are stiff, you're done for. Ah, that's not true. I mean, you should stretch your fingers if you play any instrument. I don't do any of that, though. Never have. But I have all kinds of problems. So that's probably, that might be why. Like ulnar nerve issues. You wish there was a custom piano keyboard magnetic piece you could put based on Ito. There's a little bit of that. You could do like a 17 Ito keyboard or like a 19 Ito keyboard. Like I think it's Richie Green has put out those. He like modified a cheap MIDI controller to have a 17 Ito layout and 19 Ito layout. And he sells those. If you did a 22 Ito layout, I might get one. But it's really small. It's a really small range, though. It's only a couple octaves, so I probably wouldn't get it. If I had a way to like walk around, like the instrument is so small, if I had a way to just like play this at a park, I guess I technically do, because like, but I would need a separate synth. If I had like a tiny synth that I could like just keep in a backpack and then pull this thing out and hook it up and play it in 22, I could like, and it could all be battery powered. I could just wander around and do that. I bet there's even a way to do that. I have a micro freak, but I don't think I can play in 22 on that. I think the highest it'll go is 19. Hey, what's up, dude? Mr. P, I was listening to your stream earlier. The 22 Ito glitch hop stuff, it was sounding cool. You want like 60 Ito stuff or custom keyboard? 60 Ito reminds you of clippers from the barbers. Interesting. You notice the keys of barber hair clippers are like G, G half flat, G flat. Weird. That is a very interesting observation, and one that I sadly can't relate to. I don't know. A producer you respect don't talk to you off saying negative harmony is super powerful, so now you're trying to figure out stuff too, how to play it. See how I can apply it microtonally. Oh, yeah, I guess. You think autism for you make you remember the most specific random stuff? I tried doing that whole negative harmony thing. I did write like one little riff on the piano that I thought was cool, and it was based on a negative harmony idea. Like I would go up and I would play it normal, and then I would do the negative harmony version when I went down. Like when I kept messing with it, I was like, I was also listening to like when people would like make melodies and negative and stuff, and I kind of just thought it was like it's really hard to. It's not that obvious that the ideas are related when you like compare them, and then it kind of seems to me like the most important lesson from that is just that like you can always approach something from the other direction, which I mean I guess is a simple and I guess, powerful insight, I guess. I mean, I honestly, I always think about that, I feel like, so I don't, to me, it didn't really seem that crazy, but it definitely is the case that, like, music typically approaches things from one direction, and you can approach it from the other direction. But I don't know. It's just another way of like seeing how chords relate to each other. Like on one side is like a G7, on the other side is a F minor 6. And like the voice leading is just like the opposite. They both lead to the same like C chord or whatever. He said it was to generate ideas that can tell a story in reverse. Like the progression goes somewhere somber and resolves somewhere uplifting. You'll get one that goes somewhere uplifting and resolves somewhere somber. That's kind of interesting. Well, I don't know. Maybe that's true. It's an interesting idea. I think a lot of like artists and a lot of really like talented artists are like get more hyped up about stuff like that than I do. I don't really get very excited by like those like that kind of idea, like trendy ideas. I try to keep up with it, but I'm not really. I always feel like slightly reluctant to even participate. But I think in the right hands, any idea is powerful, especially artistically. I mean, it really just depends on who's messing with it. You know, you'll explore, report back if you hear it being compelling. Yeah, I'm sure you can do cool stuff with it. I'm not trying to hate on it either. I mean, it's not that I think there's nothing to it. Uh, I messed with it a while back and didn't didn't bear any fruit for me personally, but I didn't go that deep into it. It was, one of like, I don't know, several kind of things I was just like playing with at the time. And when I was doing it, it was when it was a little fresher. It was like amidst all that Jacob Collier hype and stuff. And it's been a long time now, so people could have found really insightful ways of working with, like what you just said. That does sound very interesting. Like this idea that you can kind of reverse the mood or whatever. I'm a little skeptical of if that's true or not, but it does make sense. So, do you notice you have those ASMR mics? I don't know why it does that. I just have I'm just using the Shure SM58, and I don't know why it's in stereo. I don't get it. Apparently it's a stereo mic. I didn't realize it. Microtonal theory is a pretty darn new idea I keep up with. Well, what I mean specifically is like, if an idea is trendy, I try, like when the quintuplet groups thing was happening, I try to keep up with the musician-y stuff, but I'm all often skeptical of it. Like, this just seems like a silly fad. There's probably hardly going to be any good music that comes out of this. And it's like a lot of times what happens is people who are already dope musicians who write cool shit anyway, they just apply this concept and they do cool stuff with it because they always do cool stuff regardless. But like the the hype can be, it's, like, because I'll have friend, like, my friends are all doing it. It ends up being maybe not a peer pressure thing, but like you want to keep up with everybody else. And it's like why is it, like, part of me is always like, why is everyone focused on this, like, is there even that much to it? And I'll do it and I'll learn it, and sometimes it ends up being good. But I mean, so many times I feel like I've gone down these rabbit holes, and when I look back, I'm like, I don't even know what I got out of it. Like, cause I end up just writing some fucking sappy song about how fucking depressed I am, and that's really all I do. It's like, what do I need to know anything about quintuplets to do that? I don't. So it's, that's kind of where and the microtonal thing, that's not, that's kind of the, there is an element of that. It's like a new fresh thing, and it is trending, which is, which again, I want to keep up with it. But this is the only thing that none of my friends are doing at all. None of them are doing this. So it's not, I don't feel that same pressure from the people I've came up with, because they're not doing it. And in fact, most of them don't like it. So it feels a little more personal for me, and I feel like my reasons for doing it have less to do with outside pressure and wanting to keep up. And to me, it feels more genuinely like this is an exciting thing where I see a lot of potential and possibility here. Whereas with a lot of the other ideas, like the negative harmony and the quintuplets, and it's not that I don't think it's cool and don't think it's different and don't think it's new, but I don't know. I just wonder how. It's just like, how, like, where is this gonna take you really? I mean, it did, that stuff did improve my rhythm and all that. And who knows, if I spent more time with negative harmony, maybe it would have been a really nice boost to my composing chops. I don't know. I don't really know. I didn't stick with it. Use utility to mono my microphone. It's not a secret weapon to make your music better. It's just a thing you can play with, and the super sauced up musicians make it look amazing. Feels like the industry is biased as hell. Like musicians that have no talent getting rich and famous, and you get talented people that have little. Like, it feels like the only way to get popular is follow the crowd, and it sucks, especially if you just like the crowd and what's trending. I mean, 90% of musicians feel that way, Amberkit. It's a very common sentiment. The thing is, nobody who's not a musician feels that way. And if you're really honest with yourself, most popular musicians are extremely talented. And most very talented musicians that nobody's heard of can't do the things these super popular musicians do. And that's just a fact. I mean, we're not, like, I can't write a fucking Taylor Swift song. I can't even write a song. I can't write anything that comes anywhere near any of my favorite artists. You know what I mean? Like, even if they're not like Taylor Swift or Kanye, like even like Radiohead or shit, even like Bent Knee, which is a band that a lot of people have never heard of. Like, or like Animals as Leaders. Like, I can't even keep up with like my non-mainstream favorite bands and stuff. And I've been doing this a long time. Works by reflecting everything across a circle of fifths, so it creates the same voice leading in relation to the fifth. So we create the same voice leading to the major third. We made a circle of major thirds. And they do have money, and they have people who help out. Yeah, I mean, there's massive teams behind all that. you know, just think about like everything that like Beyonce does, for instance. Like, so she doesn't really write music, but she has like these teams of songwriters. She's an amazing vocalist. Like, who can sing like Beyonce? Very like you probably never in your life met someone who can sing anywhere near Beyonce. Even the best singers in your town probably can't even approach Beyonce. And then on top of that, she's smoking hot. I mean, she's model hot. And I mean, like just that, like how rare of a person is that already? And then you know, she can dance, she dresses cool, like she's had you know, and then she has all this money behind. Like it's an amazing thing what famous artists do. Even though it might seem kind of cheesy or inauthentic, or you know, I mean, obviously it's a big money making thing, but like to act like anyone can just go and do that is like super just ridiculous. Uh, but we all do it. I did it. Uh, Most musicians most musicians feel that have that chip on their shoulder for a long time. Yeah. So with the negative harmony thing, yeah, you flip everything across a specific axis. So it's sort of a weird thing where like if you had a D minor to a G, let's do regular minor. If you did like D minor to G to C, like the D is a major second above C. So like everything has to relate to a particular point of gravity. So like if the center of your negative harmonizing is C, then like D is a whole step up, and that's the root of your chord. And then G is a fifth up from the root. So your negative harmony version of that would be a whole step down, and then it would go a fifth down. So it would go literally -2, -5, 1. And then like all of the notes would change, like the quality would change and all the chords. So like D minor would become B flat major, and then G major would become F minor. And there's kind of a formula you can do to do it. So like if you're in C, basically you look at the midpoint between C and G, which is splitting between um, E flat and E. And then, so I guess if you're in a microtuning, it would be whatever the midpoint is between those. So I guess in 22 it would be between the same, it'd be between like down E and up E flat or whatever. And all of your chords would, from whatever distance they are from that midpoint, all the notes and all your chords would move on the other side of that. So like in the D chord, the D is, you know, one below down E. So it would be one. So that if you're in 22, that would be 2 below up E flat. So then that would go 2 above down E or whatever. So that the D would become an F, and then the up F would be 3 above the up E. So that would flip to 3 below the or down E. 3 above down E, so that become 3 below up E flat. So up F would become down D, so you'd have that doesn't seem right. No. Yeah, you'd have F, and then down D, and then the A would be here, be 10 above the So that would become, wait, A would become F too? That doesn't make sense. So you'd have, hold on. This would become this. This would become this. This would become this. So if you go from D minor to B flat major, which same is in 12, and then G, same thing. So G is it's kind of easy to do an isomorphic instrument because you can just kind of look. It's like 2 above this, that'd be E, so it'd be 2 above this. That would be so the G would become F minor. So F minor, B flat, then C. So yeah, just like in 12. So it'd be F minor, B flat, and C. F minor. What if you did the sub minor though? So D becomes F and F becomes D, so those would be the same, and then A becomes this. So it'd just be B flat super major. So D sub minor will become B flat super major. So the negative 251 will go. But yeah, it sounds bad. This one, you don't have, I mean, you can voice it however you want to, I guess. So, so F minor, so B flat, C, that B flat super major, F minor, C. Anyway, you get progressions like that. The reason you love microtonals because it reminds you of familiar chords, but it's kind of not like nostalgic but eerie. Don't know how to describe it. Like a train horn. Yeah, it's like friendly and alien all at the same time. Train horns are augmented, sounding good, sounding built. Thanks, Lynn. How you doing, dude? So I did get word from Lumitone. They said that they, I guess, figured out the shipping thing, so they should be shipping mine out pretty soon. I had to send them some extra info. I don't know how long it's going to take, but it should be soon. I don't know, maybe we can, you know what would be interesting actually? Maybe we could go on here. But see, another thing about negative harmony is it's kind of arbitrary because there's not like a specific point of reflection. Like you have to determine your point of reflection. So for any given tuning, well, I don't know how it's going to work with any given tuning. I guess it depends on like where you define that midpoint. But like if you're in 12 Edo, you have 6 different axes that you can use because 2 of them end up being identical, the 2 that are tritone apart. So I'm assuming in 22 it'd be the same way. So I think in 22 you would have, yeah, but that's what I'm saying. It's like you would have to determine what your what you're tonicizing, and like it's to some degree it's arbitrary. Like if there's a given key center, it's a little easier. But like say you're doing something a little jazzier or doing something even atonal, or just like less obviously tonal, like maybe tonal but the key center is less obvious, stuff like that, then so there is some degree of ambiguity there, depending on what you're doing. Now Mary had a little lamb, right, just whatever your tonic is, but you know there are instances, especially if you do kind of more floaty type of harmony, where it's like, okay, well, what do I want to call the key center here? And then do you want to change it? When do you change it? I mean, I guess the obvious answer would be change when you have a key change. You just do the opposite key change or whatever. Or everything is in relation to one key center for the whole thing or whatever. That probably works out most of the time. But yeah, it doesn't have to be. Anyway, all I'm saying though is that it can be, there is an axis that you determine. You have to determine this is the axis for this. All right, what was I looking for? Oh, I wrote down some chords and stuff. So these are just random chord progressions I like in 22. Oh, you know what? Actually, I've been messing with this one. I don't think I wrote it down. But here's what I'll do. I'll write it down. I'm going to write down these chords. They're in 22. I've been messing with them. I do this F Lydian thing. I'll start simple. I'll start with just 2 chords. So I'm going to go from an F major 7, or F super major, super 7, sharp 11, to this C super major, major 7, with an added super major 7. So they're kind of a weird chord, but we're gonna flip it. We're gonna flip that progression. So we're gonna say we're in the key of C. We're gonna flip everything around C, but we're gonna start with that F Lydian. And I'll just write down the notes. So we'll just do a specific voicing. I'm gonna go F A B E B. Actually, you know what? Let's do F A D E B, so there's less redundancy. Do F A D E B, which is like a F super major super 7 with a sharp 11. And we're gonna go to a, keep that same B on top, C super, oh wait, let's write down the notes. C, G, down B, E, B. So this is a C super major, major 7, with an added. So when you add a 7th, it's an extension. You just add 7. Just add 7. Okay. And that would work. Okay, so or add natural 7 or whatever. Add S7, I guess, if you want. Okay. Or you can say down 15 or whatever. That'd be fine. Okay, so I kind of like Kite's thing where he uses a comma for add. All right, so those are the 2 chords. Inverse as in plagal. We're doing negative harmony stuff. It's supposed to be the neutral third. Yeah, it's between the yeah. Could say long, yeah, later, dude. You can serialize inverted tonal vocabulary by focusing on the 4-1 movement, substituting through the pitches. Serialize inverted tonal vocabulary by focusing on the 4-1 movement. So, what does that mean? Serialize inverted tonal vocabulary. Anyway, let's figure out what the negative is of this. So CG is our axis. So yeah, the axis would be the neutral third, really. So midpoint from C and G. So we're gonna start with this chord. We're gonna flip everything. So in 22, the middle notes between C and G are up E flat and down E. So we're gonna look at how all this relates to those two notes. So F is 3 above up E flat. So we're gonna go 3 below. Wait, hold on a second. No, I'm doing this wrong. So F is 2 above down E. It's 2 above down E. So we're gonna go 2 below up E flat, right? That should be right. Yep. So we're gonna go 2 below up E flat, which gets us to E. No, what? No. Gets us to D. So F becomes D. So we're gonna go this side to D, and then A. So, once you find one, you can just flip everything. So A is super major third above that. So super major third below A is F. Oh, we're looking at D though. So below A is below D. And then so this D is a major, super major 6 above F. So we're gonna go to super major 6 below F, or below D, which is F. So D becomes F. And then E is a major 7th, or super major 7th above F. So we go super major 7th below D. It's going to give us E flat. And then B is sharp 11 or whatever above F. So sharp 11 below F would be up B flat. Okay, so can I keep track of this? So this is gonna go. So this is here. Let's put it here. So I can literally take this shape and I can just do the opposite right here. So this shape should be right here. And then so that would be the mirror of that. But in negative harmony, you always want to contextualize it so that the root is the same distance. But these are the notes. So the notes for the negative and the actual mirrored version of the chord is A flat, E flat, F, B flat, D. So this chord, if we're just ignoring everything else, forget about C for a second. This chord is, well, it could be a few things. It could be, oh, it could be a A flat sus add 6 kind of weird thing, I guess. What's the closest triad it is? I guess it'd be B flat 7 with an 11, so B flat 11. So on the flip side of C though, F is a fifth below C, a fifth above C would be G. So we don't have a G in the chord at all. There's no G in the chord, which makes sense because there's no fifth in the original chord. So this is another thing that's weird about negative harmony, is like you don't even always get the same rootedness from the tonic, like when you flip the chords. Because literally if you flip it around the axis, you get this chord. But if you were to root it on the other side, you would need a G in this. Which would make it... Is that right? I feel like that's right. F minor would become F major would become G minor. So this does have a lot of G minor-y notes, but it doesn't have the G. So basically I think B flat is as good of an interpretation of this as we're going to get. If we wanted to throw in the G, we could. And you'd end up with a like G sub minor type of chord, which makes sense because we had an F super major type of chord. But yeah, I'm just gonna call that a B flat. Well, the other thing is you could call it, what else could you call it? Because it has the A flat and the E flat in the bottom. That'd be a flat 6. That would be the 9th. And that would be the sharp 11, I guess. So we could call it A flat 6 6/9 sharp 11, I guess. Really wanted to. Yeah, that's clean. But it doesn't have the rootedness, so negative root would be G. But we don't have that. Maybe it'd be best to think of it in Roman numerals since it's relative to a key center. Is there a Roman numeral system for 22? I don't think there is an existing one, but I don't think it would be hard to apply it. So like, F would be your 4 chord, and it wouldn't really make a big difference here because, like the only like instead of doing like the only thing you'd have to change is you would just add ups and downs to your Roman numerals. Yeah, this would just be, we're going from a 4 to a 1. You know, ignoring all the fancy stuff, we're going 4-1. It's just a 4-1 progression. So the negative of that would be some kind of 5-1. But if the fifth is not in your chord, if you have a chord that doesn't have a fifth in it, when you create the negative version of it, it's not going to give you the fifth of the negative version of the chord. Does that make sense? It's like it's not going to give you the root of the negative version of the chord, because the root of the negative version of a chord is its fifth. You know what I mean? Because it's always going to be approaching the tonic from the opposite side. So like, the root's not always going to be the fifth, but forget what I said about the fifth. That's not true. The root is always going to be, maybe that is true though, actually, because like so if you did D minor, when you go D minor, C, when you flip, D becomes F, F becomes D, A becomes B flat, right? Because A is a tritone above E flat, and then A flat. No, A is a fourth above E, and then B flat is a fourth below E flat. See what I'm saying? So like, the fifth of the D minor chord is what gives you the root of the B flat chord. So like, when the fifth is not in the chord, you're gonna flip it and you're gonna have a rootless voicing of the chord on the other side. It's another reason I think negative harmony is kind of weird. Like, it doesn't, like, you can do a flip of any chord. You know what I mean? Like, you can flip any chord. Yeah, so 2 becomes flat 7. But say you had a D minor chord that just had D and F. And let's just say it had C. Say you had a D minor 7, but it had no fifth. Very common voicing. D minor 7. You would have D, F, and C. And what? D would flip to F, F would flip to D, and then the C would flip to G. So your chord would be G, D, F. And there'd be no B flat in there at all. So even though D minor 7 is supposed to become B flat major 6, if you're just flipping the notes, you have to have the fifth of the chord to get the root in the flip. That being said, we could say, oh, well, you know what? This is what this chord flips to, or this is what this chord flips to, but the root should be G, so let's tweak it and add the G. And you could totally do that, because that would be the real negative. So we could just say, you know what, we're going to throw the G in there, or we could make it a point to put the fifth of the chord in the chord. You know what I mean? We could just say, you know, we should have put the fifth in here anyway. Whatever. You can do that, of course. So, but it's just like a funny thing where it's like you're kind of superimposing a lot of ideas to make it make sense in a weird way, even though like to some extent it's like to some degree it makes sense, but to some extent it's sort of just like arbitrary flipping things around. So like if you want it to make more sense, if you want it to be like more coherent, is like paralleling the chord movement from the other side, you might have to take liberties. So it tends to work better with simpler voicings. Like if you just do triads, it works okay, but it doesn't work with like diminished chords because you never get the root because the diminished chord doesn't have a perfect fifth in it. So like when you have a diminished chord, like say you had D diminished, your notes would be D, F, A flat. You wouldn't get a B flat when you flipped it over. Because like D would become F, F would become D, and then A flat would become A flat is G sharp, major third above, E, major third below. A flat would become B. So you get B, D, F, which is fine. It's another diminished chord, but the oh wait, hold on one second. B, D, F. That's not right. It become, yeah, that's right. It would be B, D, F. But the root should be B flat. So, yeah, it just gets super weird. You get B, D, F instead of B, F, A, flat. It would do 2, 5, 1 from D. It'd be D, yes. Hold on, let me check that one out real quick. So B, D. So we'd have, so we have this. So D is 2 below this, so we're gonna go 2 above, up or down E. Where's E? So D becomes F. F will become D. And then the up A flat is super major third above this, super major third below this would be B. So it'd be B. Yeah, so in 22 it'll also become BDF. But B is an Edo step below C, whereas D is a whole step above C. So the root of this chord should actually be B flat. So you could just throw a B flat on the bottom. Or whatever. I don't know. Like weird stuff. Yeah, 2 becomes flat 7, exactly. Minor 2 becomes flat 7. Yeah. Be best for preserving voice leading, thinking contrapunctually than if you're thinking like jazz chords, you guess. I don't think a CDF is a diminished 7 chord. Don't think a CDF is a diminished 7th chord, but think of it as 3 voices that were at that point in time creating tension to the root. I mean, I guess it depends on how you want to think about it. If you just want to do the operation of flipping things over an axis, and then you can just do that. And you can just let that be the thing. But like, when this thing got popular, like when Jacob Collier was like explaining it, like that was what he kept saying, was that like he was saying that like G7 becomes F minor 6, which I always thought was super weird, because like if you flip G7, you actually get D. You get D half diminished. You don't get an F chord at all. You get D half diminished. But the reason he was saying that was because he was saying that like the motion across a circle of fifths is supposed to flip. So like it's kind of like at least for him, it's sort of like a guiding principle of the whole idea. So like if you're just messing around with chord progressions and stuff, you can take that into account, or you can ignore it or whatever. But like, yeah, if you care about that, if you care about the motion of the roots being in a reverse or being the negative, then like you have to look out for that, because it doesn't always happen when you flip the chord. Yeah, you can still flip the chord and just get your sounds. So you can go. So those are the flip of each other. And C. This is a nice chord, so I'm not complaining about this chord. That's for sure. But yeah, and then we went to this C thing. So like the negative version would be, we would just resolve on the same chord, So instead of going from to this, instead of going from this to this, we would go from this to that. And that would be the negative version. But the voice leading is not as smooth, so we could dress that up. So let's say we want to add the fifth anyway. Let's figure out what the chord would look like. So if we added a G to this, let's say we just added a G to all these notes, we would have a G, B flat, D, F. That would be a G sub minor 7, sub minor minor 7, and then G sub minor 7. That's all you have to call that. And then you'd have an added flat 6 and a flat 9. So super weird chord. But that could sound like this. So we could do let's find a nice voicing chord. So we could do, in fact, let's try to borrow from the voicing we had. So we had this. So let's go down here. That sounds quite nice. A flat though. That sounds better without the A flat, honestly. So we could go. So we go from this chord to this chord instead of. I already lost it. What was that other chord? So we had. One thing that was cool about this was we shared that common tone, that B. Since we're losing that, maybe there's some way to go to this chord where we can do some, we're singing with this, so B is pretty close to B flat, and yeah, so let's do that. So let's put the B flat on the top. So it's already better. I'm missing a note or two though. So we have the B flat, the E flat, the F, add the D right there, or right here. So that would be like the negative progression. Kind of finessed, but that would be the opposite of this. Or we can go. Yeah, it's not a bad chord. Sounds kind of cool. So that version I did G, D, F, or yeah, G, D, F, E flat, B flat, and then I went to that same C, G, down B, E, B, and then yeah, we could also even just like flip the tonic chord just to see what that would sound like. So if we were to flip the tonic chord, C would become G, G would become C, so those would stay the same. Down, B would become A flat, and then this would become this, and then this would become a fifth below E flat. So I don't think I have that note. Let's move this up to a friendlier octave. Cool. Yeah, we have the G. So you have A flat, E flat, up A flat, or I guess down G sharp, and C, or up A, and then C, and then G. I guess this is also like up G, up D. If you said up G, up D, down A flat, what would that mean? Nothing. Just say A flat, E flat. A flat, C, G. So that, what the hell is that? So what is A flat, up A flat is a minor 9. And then this would, if you wanted it all rooted on G, this would be one hell of a chord. It would be, yeah, it's like impossible to justify as a G chord, but a C would flip to G. But you don't usually flip the tonic, so that kind of makes sense. So if we were in another key, so flip to something else. Yeah, what is this chord? What would you even call this? This is like a... That's super major. Super major. That's super major 7. So E flat, super 7 with the with an up 9. No. With a flat 9. Let's go from C9 up 11 to F. make sure we include the fifth of this chord. So C, G, B flat, D, up F. No, down E, up F. Yeah, that's this. So that's a cool chord. So I'm curious what that would flip to. Go to this. F super major 7. Might even do it with a note 5. F, or note third, I mean F, C, E. Okay, so could be like F5 super 7 or note 5 or whatever. Okay, so if you add the third, it'll be major 7. Major. Hey, Danny McGo. Your balls hurt. Damn, dude. Won't stop sitting on them. Stop. Whatever you did, don't do that again. Never again. Promise me that's the last time. Alright, so, what am I doing? So now I have to flip everything across the F tonality. This is going to be between up A flat and down A. So C will become F, or C will become F. And then G will become C. So let's make sure we're doing this right. So C, no, C won't become F. So this is, yeah, F should become C, right? Flipping across this. So C becomes F. To have a better F to work with here. So I go here. It's gonna look like that. So these are our notes. So we have B. So right off the bat, this looks like a sense of minor. On the bottom. So we have B. B. Down C sharp. E flat. G. B flat. F. So I guess this would be D, up D. I guess B flat could be up A or whatever. We're gonna read it on the B. I don't know that we are though. So the B, up D, G. Well, G would actually be up F sharp, technically here, if it was a sensa minor. Which I guess, so E could be like up, F could be like up E or whatever, but we'll just keep the G. I could spell this all down C if we wanted. Down C. That might be easier to make sense of, actually. Down C. Up D flat. And then E flat. And then G. Okay, it does make more sense already. And then up A, and then so up A would be B flat, right? And F should be F. Okay. So what the hell kind of chord could this be? So G, B flat. F is like, so it was a C. C would flip to some kind of F. So if it was rooted on F, it would be F, F down C, E flat. No, F. If we rearranged everything so that F was on the bottom, you go F, G, B flat, down C, up D flat. Okay, that's a whole scale. So B. F, G, B. It's looking very Lydian. An E flat, or up D flat. And then, what am I missing? F, G, B, up C sharp. I think B flat. It has a 4. It has no third, so we could pick a third. It's F, G. I guess it could be up A, could be the third as well. chord we flipped to get this was C. Seven, so major should become minor. So that would be right. So you kind of get this scale where it'd be like F, G, up A flat, B flat, down C. Up D flat. E flat, F. Interesting scale. So the bottom is minor, but then the fifth is down. So is there a mode of this that has a perfect fifth? If I plug this into Scale Workshop, can I find a mode of this? So the 4, 5, I guess 8. It's not 5, it's 6. It's 9. Is 9 perfect fifth? I mean, a perfect fourth. Yeah, because 8's super major third. That makes sense. Okay, so 9, and then um, 12, 15, 18, and then 22. So let's look at the modes. There's 3 modes with perfect fifths. One has a super major. One has a major. That's probably the one. And one is minor. That could be it too. Let's look at these. Let's look at these. So, it's the one we're at. 3, 4. Mode 4. Let's look at mode 4. No. Mode 6. Let's look at mode 6. So there's no C. So So it's a they all have neutral 7, or this one has major 7, but it's a minor key. So the neutral 7 I think is as good as it's gonna get. So this is major, neutral 2, neutral 7. Super major 4, and that'll be it. Right? Because major, yeah, yes. Okay, so thank God for Romeo's insight into super major fifths and fourths and stuff. So you call this F. So what? Normally, like a dominant would be like a dominant mode would be flat 7. It's gonna be neutral 7. Normally that would be Mixolydian. This has a Lydian. This is kind of like a Lydian. What's the normal Lydian in 22? So that'd be a nice tone Lydian. So this would be a nice tone. So this would be like F, a nice tone Lydian. Neutral 2, neutral 7. Or Lydian nice tone or whatever. Could you call the neutral 7 neutral dominant? I guess so. So you could call this would have that chord in it. It would be one would be F, it would be up A flat. Up A flat Lydian nice tone. So this would be up A flat. Maybe. I guess you could call the minor 7. C minor neutral 7. Or C neutral dominant, neutral minor. Neutral. Major. Major, neutral, minor, neutral. Okay. So I did like this. What does it sound like if you go from this to the other chord? Oh, just took more detailed notes because I don't know what the hell I just did. This seems like a good stopping point. Well, thanks everybody who check out the stream. No stream tomorrow. Well, might stream on my other channel and on Twitch, but no music stream tomorrow. Okay. See y'all the following day. See y'all in a couple days.